This is the AllPowers R1500 solar generator system, which is a perfect fit as a home backup solution or to power all of your off-grid appliances when camping. It features an 1152 watt-hour LiFePo battery with an 1800 watt Pure Sinewave Inverter with a 3000 watt peak capacity. It can charge from 0 to 80% within 45 minutes using the 1500 watt AC charging input, but can also be charged in multiple ways including solar, auto, and a double charging using AC power and solar power. The R1500 can have up to 650 watts of solar charging and features a 15 millisecond uninterruptible home backup ups for keeping your house running when your power goes out. It has 4 100 to 120 volt AC plugs, 2 USB-A ports, and 2 USB-C ports, plus 2 wireless charging ports. This unit starts at $899 by itself or $1,199 with the 200 watt solar panels we'll be using today. So let's jump in and see if this unit is worth the price.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get this unboxed. I'm going to walk you guys through the full unboxing process, walk you through my first impressions, and then I'll talk to you guys about how we're actually going to test this later on. So it's a little baggie here. They have a nice envelope for, looks like all of the warranty information, so we will go through that in a second. Big thing of styrofoam here. And there it is. Okay, in this baggie is the power cord, just like a regular computer power cord. One of the first things that stood out to me was how deep these handles were. It made it really easy to grab and pull this up. Obviously, this is a pretty beefy unit, so it is pretty heavy, but it wasn't too bad to get it out of the box there. Looks like on the sides, and I'm going to flip it on the sides so I can show you guys on the top down here. There's an expandable battery port and or 2 different expandable battery ports. So by clicking this, you're able to pull that up. That has a really nice feel to it. See if we can pick that up on the microphone. There's a nice spring effect to it. These green fins are a nice touch. Overall, that looks really nice. And we'll flip it onto the other side. And the same thing here, one of those protective doors. This is where the AC charging port will go. And this is where I believe that both DC charging ports will go, but for sure the solar. Oh, and looks like there is a breaker right here for an AC overload. So it looks like there's the LED screen here. It has a protective film on it here. We'll pull off that in a second. Your cigarette charger, your various AC loads, which you guys obviously heard in the intro, some of those specs about this being an 1800 watt Pure Sinewave Inverter. And then you have USB-C, which says 100 watt outputs, and then you have USB-A 18 watt outputs. So gives you 4 USB charging outputs compared to the N4 AC charging outputs. This rubber feels really good. It seals up solid, so you don't have to worry about dust or moisture getting in that at all. And this is something that I thought was pretty cool, is wireless charging. There's 2 wireless charging outputs. Looks like both are 15 watts. So a lot of our phones these days are wireless charging capable. I have a phone that's wireless charging capable. In fact, actually my USB-C port doesn't work on my phone anymore, so I can only charge wireless right now. First impressions, I mean, it feels really solid, looks really good, feels sturdy in the hands. Overall, nice compact footprint for what it does. Now, like I said, I'll talk to you guys about what's in the envelope here. Nice premium feel on the envelope, actually. Most people throw their warranty cards just in there in the box. So talking about visiting on Facebook, and there is a manual that obviously I will only read if I run into issues, because that's how I roll. Now, I like how they were able to put your charging inputs on the side. This freed up all of the front area up here for all of the plugs and whatnot, which probably allowed it to be in a more condensed footprint rather than having everything on the front and having to maybe make it taller or whatnot. I don't know if that is fully the case, but that's the theory that we're going to work with here. Solar generators I have been around are the Bluetti system. I've been around Jackery systems. I've been around the EcoFlow systems. So there's nothing that really jumps out to me that is much different than those companies. This I could see being a great solution for you overlanders out there. It's a little big and cumbersome to work around for a tent camping setup, and honestly probably has too much power for what you might be using in a tent camping scenario. But for you overlanders out there who are wanting to possibly, power some larger devices, or you're a photographer like me and you have a lot of equipment that you need to charge, something this size is going to be probably more of what you want to do. Now let's walk through how to actually program this thing or power it up. We're going to make sure you guys are centered up there, and go ahead and peel off that sticker. Nice shiny look. We're going to press and hold this power button to turn it on. It's at 75% right now, so I just pulled it out of the box. To turn the DC loads on, looks like you just press that button there, and it gives you an indication that your USBs are available and your cigarette lighter charger, the 10 amp cigarette lighter charger, is available. Press that off, and then for your Pure Sinewave Inverter, press that on. It gives you a nice indication there saying that all of these are available. Also, it gives you an indication down below how many days are remaining, and obviously the circle there showing you the 75% battery life there. I'm going to see if I can turn this Bluetooth on and get the app. Okay, I'm going to turn the Bluetooth on. Shows me a Bluetooth signal there. Popped up pretty quick. We're going to click on that. Oh, that's pretty neat. So inside the app, we can turn the AC on. And just hearing that beep right there, it's actually pretty immediate. Cool. And then you can turn your DC loads on. And it shows you all three different types of inputs. There's also at the bottom different hertz output, so you can dial that in if you want to. Then it shows you the amount of power at the top. These three dots. There is an eco mode that we can go to. There's also the different work modes on the mute mode, standard mode, fast mode. So you can go through everything. Pretty intuitive. I actually like how simple it is. Devices like these, I tend to find that they try to be too much. Actually, one of the things with the Bluetti app, I was getting a little annoyed on turning on certain modes. I had to go like 2 or 3 layers deep in the app, where this is just all right there. So if I wanted to control it from my phone across camp, or if I'm in a vehicle and I'm driving and I want to turn on something, I can easily do it from my phone. Let's jump into looking at the solar panels here, and I'll give you guys my first impressions, and then I'll talk to you guys about how we're going to actually test this bad boy. This is our solar panel. It's a 200 watt panel, if I'm not mistaken. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. There's this big compartment. Yep, has all of our charging cables that we would need. That's interesting. Oh, cool. Okay, so they send you different adapters for you to use this as a means to charge your devices directly from their solar panel. So you would use this cable, which has a standard MC4 connector. If you've been around solar panels, you would have seen these MC4 connectors before. Then this guy here is going to be your plug for plugging this into the unit itself. So, and then you have your, obviously, 2 MC4 connectors there. So what we're going to do is zip this booger back up. And take a look on the front. Looks like these 2 clips unclip. This guy goes up. Yep. Oh, wow. This might be bigger than what I was thinking it was. A lot bigger. So these are probably 50 watts each. Kind of neat on how it all buckles together. This is a very similar feel and design that and I'll grab it here just to show you guys. These are the panels from my Jackery system that I have. And this is a 200 watt setup. but you see these are two separate panels and they only magnet together, whereas this is a 200 watt panel all into one combined case. So that is actually really nice. Now what's nice about portable panels like this is you can chase the sun when you're out trying to charge via solar, so you can actually angle it in the right angle. That's what these legs will allow you to do, stand it up and pitch it towards the sun. Now all that is fine and dandy on talking about the specs like we did, talking about what it can do according to the marketing document. Now AllPowers did send me this unit to review, but they didn't tell me anything that I had to do in terms of reviewing it. Now, being a nature photographer and filmmaker, it only seems fair that I take this out on the road and see what it can do for a week up in the hills. Now, I'm not doing any photography this next week. I actually have a hunting trip I'm going on, but I'm going to use this to charge camera gear because I'll be taking pictures and doing some filming for work and running some devices around camp and actually just put it to more of a realistic use case. I want to see what this thing can handle, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Now, overall, my use case with the AllPowers unit this last week, nothing really jumped out to me as awesome, except for the wireless charging. Currently, right now, my phone, the charging input is broken, but I do have wireless charging available with it, and being able to wirelessly charge with the AllPowers was actually a pretty nice feature to utilize this week, just being able to set my phone on top and then being able to just kind of walk away and charge. And if I need to check anything, I could just pick it up, check the phone, and set it back down and let it charge again. The fact that the wireless charging uses the DC side of the unit is actually pretty nice too, meaning it's going to be a little bit more efficient. We're not having to use that Pure Sinewave Inverter to invert a lot of the charging, which allows for it to be a little bit more efficient. So that was a nice feature. Now I'm going to jump into one con that I ran into this week. It has been really dusty, and I mean really dusty. And when trying to open the trap door on the side to do the solar input, the dust got stuck in there and actually the door wouldn't open. I ended up having to pull a pocket knife out and use the pocket knife to help open that door. That is one con there. I would have to see how this would perform over a longer extent of time to see if that dust is actually an issue. Other than having that trap door, I didn't have any problems. It seemed to be working fine. All the connections seemed fine, and that's thanks to the protective covers on all of the AC inputs and also on this trap door. Now the unit is pretty heavy. The footprint though is nice. It doesn't take up a ton of space in my van, and I was able to pack things around. Now I did scratch up the paint just by throwing some of the things around, but it wasn't too bad. Honestly, you're gonna continue to get that use case as you use the unit more often. Now using the solar panels, again, I really like that briefcase design that they have that I mentioned in the unboxing, but I don't really like the leg system on it. Now this isn't a knock completely on AllPowers. I have used other solar generator systems with similar solar panels and also have complaints with how those legs work. Now it's nice because it compacts up and folds up really well, but where my complaint comes in is if there's any type of wind, these solar panels, they get knocked over. Now they can still continue to generate solar, that's for sure. So it's not really that big of a deal as long as the sun is up high enough, but being able to create that angle actually helps maximize your solar input. Now, one other thing I want to talk to you guys about with the solar panels, and this could also be just adjusted by buying an accessory, is the cabling from the solar panels to the battery bank is really short. I find it difficult if I want to sit in the shade like I am right now to run the solar panels into the sun and keep it plugged into the unit. Now, I could probably get an extender, but I would have to make sure that the wire size and everything was proper for extending the solar panels to the unit. Now, not the end of the world if you just want to go ahead and put this out into the sun and then run extension cords from it, but I just found that to be a little cumbersome because I like to sit in the shade. I don't like to sit out in the sun and bake. So being able to keep my solar panels in the sun to charge and use this to charge everything else would have been pretty nice. Now, overall, the solar charging does work pretty well, but honestly, the AC input charging was pretty impressive. Now I went ahead and plugged this in to show you guys a test scenario of it. And for about 10 minutes, I allowed the AC charging to run. During that time, I could see roughly around 1,000 watts were being inputted into the AllPowers. I could see that on the app, and I can also see it on my Victron unit since I was using my camper van to charge. Now, during that 10 minutes, we saw roughly a 10% charge, which is actually pretty nice. So this charges really quick when you use the AC charging input. Now for solar, it does take a lot longer to charge. So if you need to quickly charge, you're gonna want to use the wall outlet. Now for use cases, I obviously use this in a wide variety of ways while being out on the road for the last week. It was great for creating a mobile office. So I was able to use my laptop, charge everything I needed to charge, and even run a Starlink system, which was fantastic. So for you mobile workers out there, again, having a power bank like this is fantastic. Now, obviously, a lot of different solar generators can provide the same solution there. So your decision is going to be more based on the amount of battery storage and the amount of output. Now, since this has an 1800 watt Pure Sinewave inverter, I did want to put that to the test. So I used an induction cooktop a little bit to cook, and yeah, fantastic. It did exactly what you thought it would. Does definitely take a draw on the system, and you're going to see that the battery drains very quickly when using a high output device like that. I also cook with it using some other electric cooktops that I have that you guys see me review. I also used it to make some coffee, which by using an electric boiler and then just a French press system, and again, of course, because it has that high output Pure Sinewave inverter, it was able to successfully do all of those jobs. You just have to look at the drawdown on the battery, and from there, consider whether or not that this is a big enough unit for you. Me personally, it's about right, but I always like to have more power than not because I am a photographer and filmmaker, so I have a lot of electronic equipment to keep charging. And so if I was having to use this to also live off of for lighting, cooking, and all of that, I might find myself running into a scenario where this may not be enough power. Now, this last week, I didn't really run into that issue at all. So we would have to see down the road, like if I was running an electric blanket or heaters or anything like that, if I would have more issues with this unit. Now, one thing I wanted to check is to see if I could use this unit to charge my house batteries in my camper van. Now, I know with the amount of watt hours, it would never charge all 600 amp hours of my battery bank, but I wanted to see if I could get actually a significant charge on that battery bank by using this unit in case I ever found myself in a pickle or I just wanted to charge up real quick, like when I'm running the air conditioning unit or something. So I went ahead and plugged my van in and turned on the inverter and let it run down till about 50% power. In that time frame, it charged my batteries about 5% roughly. Again, I'm showing you guys the test results right now on the screen. So it may not be something that is completely viable. I'd get roughly about 10% charge off of using this. But if again, I got in a pickle, I needed to jumpstart my batteries or something like that, maybe something like this could be a solution. Now the 200 watt solar panels plugged in couldn't really keep up at all, didn't really make a significant difference with that high output of a charge. Now, AllPowers was kind enough to extend a 10% off coupon code for you guys. So if you use the code Riley Clark at checkout, you can receive 10% off of this R1500 system from AllPowers. Now, if you are new to the channel, I want to say welcome. My name is Riley Clark. I am an outdoor nature photographer and filmmaker, and I like to take you guys out in the field with me on my adventures. And from time to time, I like to do product reviews like this to help you also elevate your adventures. If this sounds like something you are interested in, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. If you found value in this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That is all I have for you. I will see you guys in the next adventure.